Welcome today to our podcast. Again, we're interviewing the leadership team of Nexus IT. Today we got Collin Stevenson with us. So I'll let him discuss what his day in the life is, his role, and how he brings value. But super pumped to have you on, Collin.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jake. Awesome. Appreciate it.
So tell us about yourself and what you do.
So my name's Collin Stevenson. I've been working in the tech field, IT field, since I was 19. I started at a call center out in Magna, just doing tier 1 support, basically. Love building computers with my friends, and so that's how we all got into it. Eventually, fast forward 29 years, or 19, 20 years, I'm here now. I love it. Basically, I started as a tier 2 technician here, and then I became a team lead. And so day-to-day stuff is just basically like handling escalations, assigning tickets, dispatch backup, reaching out to clients directly, working with all the other teams, scheduling on-sites, one-on-one meetings with my teammates, all that good leadership stuff.
Fun. That's awesome. So with your role, what's your favorite part? What's the part of your role that you're like, man, I just love doing X?
Oh, so in my role, I push my teammates a lot to do training, work on training. So we get 2 hours a week to work on training, and that can be anything that they're working on, anything cert-wise. Maybe it's for school, whatever the case may be. But so far, I've had like 3 or 4 teammates who have just gained several certs in different fields. And that's what's awesome to me, is being able to coach those people, be one-on-one with them, follow up on their training, ask them if they need anything, and provide any kind of resources. I love seeing my teammates grow, and I love seeing teammates who aspire to go to different parts of the company or just kind of like increase their knowledge in a certain area that they're interested in. So that's what's really fun to me, seeing the growth and development of my teammates.
That is awesome and heartwarming. I think there are people out there, I don't think we have any on the team, but there are people out there if someone else succeeds, that means you fail.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And that's what a sad way to live.
I know, right? I know. I've made the comment before with Jeb and everything that I'm basically training my replacement, but that's in the sense of teammates wanting to grow, people wanting to go into leadership, people wanting to go into higher tech fields, things like that. So to me, if you can get higher in a better position than me, then I did succeed.
I love that. Yeah. One of the things we talk about a lot is having an abundance mindset. And
Absolutely.
I think that what you just said embodies that you helping someone level up to prepare them, quote unquote, like you said, for your position or others. Honestly, to me, what I've noticed, the more you do that, the more it crystallizes why you need to be where you're at.
Absolutely.
So it's like a double-edged sword. You're helping them, and it crystallizes why you should be where you're at.
Right. Exactly. So I guess there just was a clear picture in leadership's mind. There's we need Collin in a leadership role, and I've done management work before. But then once I became a leader here, it's just been the best. I absolutely love it. And no cheese, no cliche. Seriously, it's great.
That's fantastic. That is great to hear that more in a public forum. Yeah, I hear those same things more in private, but it's cool to say and tell the world.
Oh, absolutely.
How great it is and that you can have that mindset and win. You don't I think in IT especially, I've seen this before where IT people can at times, I got to hoard this knowledge.
Yes.
If I have this, I'm valuable.
Oh,
when the truth is if you always are helping and giving, it makes people feel like, oh man, you're that way, but I'm going to go to you no matter what.
Exactly.
But you're willing to give it to me, so that is awesome.
Right, and it just helps everyone else succeed.
Yes.
Again, no cliche. It's the truth. You spread that knowledge, you document it, you help out your teammates in that regard, then you're just making sure yourself and other people are succeeding.
I love that. It actually makes me think of one of my favorite books is Driven. It's the story of Larry H. Miller. It's a fantastic book, but he talks about he had a dream that he got a knock on the door. He opened the door, and someone was asking for a present. And he's like, he turned around, and there's one present on the table, and he gave it to him. And then closed the door. Someone knocks, and they asked for a present, and he turned around, and there was like 10 presents.
Oh,
and so he gave him one. And then it got to the point where there were presents everywhere. And what he took out of that was, if you give, you will receive.
Oh, sure.
And if you have that abundance mindset and you're not worried and trying to, I got to protect every little thing, and you're open, that the universe, you're knocking on it and it's responding to
Absolutely. You. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
Super cool. So, well, I'll skip to a question that was farther down the list because I think our conversation's kind of going there. So what advice do you give or would you give to aspiring leaders or aspiring IT people in their growth?
So for me, again, a big part of it is training and development, right? And what that kind of boils down to also is just adaptability, being able to keep up with technology, being able to keep up with knowledge, things like that. It's always changing. There's always going to be a need for it. So my advice to leaders and or teammates that want to grow and aspire is just continue that pursuit of knowledge. That and basically try and see the whole picture, the big picture. I'm glad you brought up a book. I listened to a bunch of podcasts, super fan of true crime, things like
cool.
that. And a lot of that, one especially, there's a guy called David Politis, and he talks about missing people in national parks. What he details in his books is that he takes the case that was received from the park rangers and everything, but he never ever puts a reason of what he thinks is going on. He leaves it up to people. So for me, that opened my mind of like, oh man, I need to see the bigger picture, not jumping to conclusions and getting all the information. So for me and for leaders and teammates, continue that pursuit of knowledge and look at the big picture.
I love that. That is powerful. So on the flip side, what we do can be stressful.
100%.
In several of the other podcasts I've done, we've talked about MSP life.
Yep.
And MSP life is a real thing.
It is.
Because it's different drinking from a fire hose a lot of the time. So what do you do to stay on top of your game and stay cool and calm, especially leading people? Because if you're running around with your head cut off, that it spurs that with the team. So what do you do to keep cool and go home at night and be like, I did a good job today?
Oh, no. I'm glad you brought that up. It is. Burnout factor is a real thing. MSP. A lot of the times you're working on so many things at once, or you're continuing one specific thing if it's an escalation. Excuse me. And for me, it's what I like to do is I like to prioritize what the most important thing is first. Look at any tickets, emails, phone calls, whatever the client needs, find out what is pressing, like if it's an outage, if multiple people are affected at a business, if it's business impacting, focusing on those things first, and then eventually just tapering down and going down the list of helping out what else is needed after that. When you're scatterbrained and running around, as you mentioned, like a chicken with your head cut off, it doesn't help anyone.
Right.
So staying cool, staying calm and collected, and then looking at just what needs to be done first, taking breaks all the time, making sure that you're utilizing time off, things like that. For me, when you plan out your day and look at who needs what first, that essentially lets you go home and feeling like, oh, I got what I wanted taken care of, and I was able to help out this person that really needed my help, or help out this outage at a company, whatever the case may be. So planning out your day and making sure that you're taking time for yourself as well.
That's awesome. I love that. I think that sometimes we can tend to, I'll just push through. And then you get to the point, I've heard the phrase many times, you got to sharpen your axe.
Oh, sure.
And best lumberjacks would stop all the time to sharpen their axe, and they cut down more trees, when sometimes it feels like if I'm just swinging, I'm winning.
For sure.
But a lot of times it's like, no, if I sharpen the axe, then I'm more effective with
Exactly. 100%, man. I agree.
So I love this one. So describe a time, a pivotal moment that has shaped who you are.
Ooh, wow. That's a great question. Gosh, I think I would say the birth of my daughter, basically, right? So when I became a parent, it's a whole new world. So you really have to change a lot of things that you do. Your routine's different, your day-to-day activity is different, and then all of a sudden now you're responsible for someone else. You're responsible for your human being. I think what that does, though, is it transforms you into a person that can utilize those skills and that new kind, I guess, knowledge or epiphany, for instance, towards work and towards with colleagues. So for me, in that experience, it kind of just made me feel like I need to take care of things in a more professional way. I need to be able to be there for people, basically. So having that moment and having a kid, it's wonderful. Also translates into work of like, clients are like our kids, basically, right? We have to take care of them. We have to help them grow. We have to make sure they succeed. So I think after having and being a father, it changes a lot of things for you, especially in the workplace too.
I appreciate that. It makes me just think, I don't know if this is what you felt, is you can see way beyond yourself when before is harder.
Yes.
Because before you have kids, and me, and if you have a significant other, they're really, really important. But when you have a child, it's so different, because it's like they need you.
You have to keep them.
Yes, you have to grow up, even if you don't want
Exactly.
to. Not that you can't have fun.
Right.
My wife will tell you that she feels like she has to put all the kids to bed and me, because I just rile them up. I can't help it. I like to play.
Oh, yeah. Seriously. That was one of the best times too. Just being able to play with your kid. I have a teenager now. So now it's a whole new ball game.
How old?
13.
I have a 15-year-old and what is she now? She's 12.
Wow.
So it's tough.
For sure.
It's different.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can't wait because I know my experience going through that. I just can't wait to help and guide them. And that also just, you can foster that same attitude towards work too.
Absolutely. I think that's cool, the parallels between home life and work life. So this is a kind of different question, but I love to ask people this because I'm trying to perfect this myself. How do you maintain balance?
Ooh, good question. So a lot of the time, many times when I've worked in different areas in the field or just with different companies, I'd hear a lot from colleagues and from like previous managers. When you come to work, you got to check your head and it's business only. And I follow that for so long, but you can't do that. So personal life happens. Sometimes you will have to be taken away from work. Sometimes you have to take care of emergencies, things like that. So understanding where your limit is, things like that, and finding balance in between work and life, I feel like basically you have to just, man, how can I really say this? I feel like you do in a sense have to check your head at the door because you're focused on business and a mindset there. But at the same time, you can't leave behind other skills or other things that you have that you've learned outside of work. So when you can maintain both of those feelings or situations and understand that I got to take care of this at work, but I'm also here and available as a dad or even just a partner, whatever, being able to just separate one from the other and also just keep them connected in a sense. I know that's weird to say and it's kind of vague, but it's still just maintaining what you do personally and what you do at work. They have to sync together.
Agreed.
Honestly. So in a sense, I guess I'm really not answering your question about balance, but I feel like if you keep those together and again, you maintain your limit, understand when you need a break, when you need time off, things of that nature, that's ultimately finding a balance, I feel like.
I agree. I've found that there are almost like seasons of, there are times that work will need more of my time and I should be able to grant that. But then there's times that home needs more of my time. And obviously you want to keep those peaks and valleys for your sanity as even as possible. But I think that's what's cool in the world we live in ever since remote work and those sort of things has made it a lot easier for us to, hey, I'm all in for work, but I also got to take care of some things at home as well. And I don't know. That's been really cool to see the progression. And will it ever be perfect? I don't know because everyone's different. So like, the things that are most important to you might be different for me. And so you answer that, but it's finding that balance. And then, like you said, what's the human touch?
Right.
We're all people.
Exactly.
So let's remember in the end, people are people.
Exactly. We all have feelings and we all have needs.
Yeah, absolutely. So you brought up podcasts. Do you have any favorite books or you talked about the true crime podcast? Are there other podcasts or books that you would suggest to people?
Oh man. Again, I listen to a lot of Last Podcast on the Left. I'm not sure if you checked that out. They cover a ton of true crime, but it's the way that they dive into it is very detailed and very just open. They joke a ton because it's Henry Zabrowski, Marcus, and one other guy, but it's just great how they present the information. Going back to books, one of the most favorite books I read in high school, and I read it again in my 20s, was An Open Heart by the Dalai Lama.
Oh, I haven't read that.
Oh, it's amazing. It'll change your life. It really just teaches you, again, going back to the human touch, it really helps you just open up as a person and to just overall how to be there for people, how to be someone that's, again, with an open heart, I think is the best way to describe it. You're open to suggestions, ideas. You want to be there for people. You understand the big picture and you just kind of be that person that you can go to, that you can talk to because you're honest and you're open, because you're communicating clearly. Humans are very like, we need people. We need communication. We need each other. Yep. So, no, I highly recommend that book by the Dalai Lama. It's wonderful.
Sweet. I will check that out. I love reading books and seeing different perspectives. One of the things you mentioned, Jeb, he's a coach that he works with us and helps us see beyond ourselves and how do we level up. And one thing he talks a lot about is perspective taking. And that can be difficult because when you think you're right, you think you're right.
Absolutely.
And sometimes what's hard, I find this more with personal relationships, is sometimes you are right. You got to take their perspective and well, maybe me being right, it doesn't matter in this situation.
100%. If you look at it like how you came across it and put yourself in their shoes, try and understand what they're feeling. It's sometimes like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say it that way, or maybe I need to present it in a way that's less aggressive or less straightforward, things like that.
And I think that also translates to customers. I know many times customers won't understand technology side.
Yes.
And so they think they're right. And it's like, but no, I'm trying to help you but sometimes you got to relent a little bit. We'll do it the way you want to do it. And then, once you see it's not working, then listen,
I'll be here.
We're here to help. Which that doesn't happen all the time, but
no, for sure.
But sometimes, that does, and we got to be ready for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I like this one because I think you slay this. So, how do you foster a positive and inclusive culture in your team?
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. No, I love that we have a shout outs board in teams, being able to call out teammates on great work that they've done, and then having those just extra bonuses at the end of the month for shouting people out. What I like to do is, I know the work is hard and I know it's constant and nonstop. I like to try and be just inspiring to people. And I also just let them know that, like, hey, as a leader, I'm here for you. I'm constant. I'm the server. You come to me whenever you need something. And I like to just, anytime I assign a ticket, I'm always thankful. And I'll tell people, you're doing a wonderful job. And thank you so much for doing this. Simple things like that pushes people to want to do more. And I'll say it without me, again, not trying to be cliche here, but when I came to Nexus, this was the first job that kind of like fostered that inclusion, basically. Yeah. I was just astounded. I was like, wow, this team is just, everyone has their backs. Everyone is super pumped, has an awesome attitude. And it wore off on me. When I came in as a tier 2 technician, I loved working and helping out people. And I was a little bit nervous about going on site because I never did that before. I loved it. And then seeing my team being able to do that and hearing just great responses from customers, clients saying, we love this person. We want them on site all the time or just scheduled all the time. And being able to tell them that, that you're doing an awesome job and the way that you did this work and why the client feels the way that they do really shows. So for me, just positive attitude, just reassurance, and honestly, just helping them out as much as you can.
I've seen you do that many times, and it's inspiring to me because there's times that I'll get one track minded, and
sure,
you always embody that abundance and that positivity. So I appreciate that, and I hope you know how much that permeates the team. And so,
thank you so much, Jake. I appreciate that. I see it with you too. You're always in a positive attitude, always laughing. You're always having a great time. No, it's awesome. It's great to be around people like that. It really is.
It truly is. So tell us, what do you do for fun? What's your personal hobbies and stuff?
So I'm really big into art. I did a lot of art in high school. Right now, me and my girlfriend are doing paintings, stuff like that. Cool. So with acrylics. But I also recently, probably about, earlier in the spring, I bought an e-bike.
Oh, sweet.
So they're so fun. They're so much fun. Oh my gosh,
they're so fun.
They're great. So I've been getting more and more into that. I want to get more into workout routine, but essentially I am such a movie buff. I can watch movies all day, but I also love,
I agree.
And I love going in the mountains. I love being here in Utah. There's so much to do, so many different types of landscapes.
Agreed.
I've lived in Moab, camping in the desert. Again, love going up in the mountains and the Uintas, things of that nature. Just, I really like just getting out of the house, but sometimes I also just love staying in the house.
Agreed.
So for me, art, movies, biking, video games, stuff like that.
It's awesome. I love it. It's cool to hear. Oh, I also love movies. It's too hard for me. It's too hard to say just one. What are a few of your top favorite movies?
Oh man. Oh, why do you do this to me? Jeez, let's see here. So there is a movie that I watch just religiously and can watch front to back all the time. Fifth Element.
Oh, love that movie.
Right? Oh my gosh. So the casting, the characters, everything in that movie is great. Oh, yeah. I love if I'm homesick and if that movie comes on, I'm set.
Yes. When I had cable, whenever that was on, I was like, oh, well, I'm finishing this.
Oh, yeah,
Shawshank Redemption was that way for me too.
God, yeah.
If that was on, I don't have 2 hours.
I know.
Here we go.
I love that movie. Stand By Me.
Oh,
wonderful
fantastic
movie. Gosh, how much time we got in this podcast?
I love that you love Fifth Element so much.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people who've never even seen it, and
or they just don't like it.
I don't know how you couldn't like it.
I don't either. Chris Tucker. Oh my God, hilarious, amazing. So
get away from me. His voice and
yes.
Oh man.
Oh yes.
I really love the Blue Lady.
Blue Lady. I don't know if I've
when she sings.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that I like her voice and stuff like that is so good. But the story, I love. I don't know. I love the power of love and light.
Absolutely.
Could conquer what seemed impossible.
Yes, darkness for everything.
Yes,
the whole universe.
And I've always loved that duality. You think about. I've been in Timpanogos Cave and things like that when they shut off the lights and it's pitch black, and then one little light. Mm-hmm. Can dispel the darkness. And I think that's not trying to get too much into philosophy and stuff, but I do believe when you're talking about positive attitude and abundance mindset, that light can stamp out darkness in other people. And I'm not saying people are bad, but when people have negative,
if they're feeling down,
whatever, that light and positivity is just like light in the darkness where it's like, oh, and you can borrow each other's lights, which I think is cool. I think sometimes we joke about, I'm tough, I'm a guy, I can do things on my own. We need people. We need
100%.
the light of others, and that's what gets us going. I've had times even at work when I feel like it's insurmountable, and then I see the shout out, like you said,
sure,
and the team's killing it. I can do this.
Absolutely.
One more step. We got this. It's awesome.
No kidding. Quick example, yesterday, I don't know what it was, but everyone called Nexus. And then everyone emailed Nexus. It was like 2 p.m. to like 5 p.m. We had probably like 50 new tickets.
Oh, man.
And by the end of the day, we left with only 5. So
that's insane.
It's like, dang, I can't believe we all did that. So it's really cool to see. And you got to think that, again, as you mentioned, with a positive attitude, you got to think that does wear on people. So if it didn't, then those tickets would still probably be there and clients would be upset. Yeah. Having a good attitude and just making sure people understand that they're doing a good job, telling them that they did a great job, it goes so far.
It does. I agree. In one of the books I've read recently, it talks about we all focus on ideals or a horizon line, and we're trying to reach that. Mm-hmm. The hard part about that is you can never reach a horizon.
Right.
And an ideal always changes. And so I think, and I have this tendency, is I focus so much on that, and if I don't meet that, then it's like I failed. I'm not good. Yeah. But what we really need to do is look behind us and say, oh my gosh, look how far we've come.
Exactly.
And we're always just leveling up. And as we do that, and if we can recognize it, which I think we as a team really try to do, is recognize that in others.
Yep.
That's how we truly get better and grow together. Because what is that saying? The tide lifts all boats.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of what, if you live that way, you do bring other people's boats up, and they'll bring you up too.
Absolutely. It circles around, it comes back.
Yeah. So the last question, tell us something unsurprising or interesting about yourself that we may not know.
Man.
Besides, you have awesome shirts.
Oh,
Look at that shirt, the Godzilla shirt.
Godzilla and the classic wave painting for the Japanese artist.
So cool.
Oh, man. Yeah. My mom bought me this shirt.
I love it. When you said art, I was like, well, he's wearing a piece of art right now.
Oh, for sure, man. Something surprising that people wouldn't know
or just
about me.
Interesting.
So I've never really shared this with people before, but I have an idea of writing like a comic or a graphic novel or something of that nature. An idea of could even be a show, for instance, but I began to start writing it out, and I can't tell if I want to write it as a script or just a book, but I've only told like a few people about this, but writing is something seriously that I'm interested in.
Awesome.
So I would love to push that out and then get some feedback, because I'd love to get feedback from people here. I love my coworkers. It's great. But yeah, no, it's new for me, and I want to keep going with it, but I'd love to see it published, and I know I'm dreaming big, but
you can do it. I promise you. My wife, actually, she's published.
Oh, wow.
She's written 13 books.
Oh, my God.
Published 2 or 3.
That's amazing.
But what she said, that what has been the most successful is where she sees people kick up, is they get so stuck on the one story they have, and then they'll just try to rewrite it. She said for her, the most successful, because she did that, stuck on a book for like 4 years.
Sure.
And then she's like, I'll just put that on the back burner and do something else, and then get good feedback. And she's like, that has been so much fun. And then she found a group of people who are in the same boat, who are like, I love doing this. I'm all about it, and I want to help level people up. So there's those communities out there. So
that's amazing. I might have to talk to your wife, honestly.
Seriously, she'll talk till she's blue in the face about books.
Nice.
I don't know if you know who Brandon Sanderson is.
Oh, that sounds so familiar.
So he does fantasy novels. Okay. He's like huge nerd.
Nice.
But he teaches a class down at BYU, and he does this special class that he only lets, it's like 15 people, and you have to apply to get in. And my wife made it. To put it in perspective, there's a kid from Iceland who applied, got in, and he lived here during the semester just to go to this class. That's how exclusive. And she said one of the coolest part was about it. It was all about networking. I mean, we talk about that stuff at work. It's the same thing in your personal life. And so I say do it.
That's awesome.
You have the capability.
That's awesome.
Don't be afraid to get good feedback and just keep going.
I love it.
Art is art. And not everyone's going to love every bit you do.
No, of course not. No, that's amazing, Jake. No, seriously, I'm going to have to talk to your wife.
Yeah, seriously. I'll hook you guys up. Well, thank you so much for your time.
This is awesome.
This is great. Super fun. What I'm trying to do is help introduce the amazing people we have here at Nexus to our customers, our future customers, and just to the world. We work with the best people in the world. So.
I agree. Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
Jake. Appreciate it.
Stay classy, Salt Lake City.